batas ng Solo Welfare Act, pag ikaw ay tumatanggap na ng subsidiya sa 4Ps, tumatanggap na sa Social Pension Fund, pag tumatanggap na sa PWD, hindi ka na qualified. Ito po yung para sa mga solo parents na below minimum wage earners na at all walang subsidy na natatanggap sa gobyerno. So it limits already. Ang hinahabol lang po natin, walang solo parent na may iwan.
Ito na naman, Congresswoman Bernadette Herrera may binunyag na nakakagulat na revelasyon. Kabulastugang gawain ni DILG Secretary Benhur Abalos Jr. timbog na. Pero bago ang lahat, maaari kayong mag-subscribe para maging updated sa mga issue at bagong mga balita. Ibinunyag nga ni Congresswoman Bernadette Herrera ang patungkol sa palakasan system ng LGU. Ito nga ay patungkol sa mga benepisyo na sana ay nakalaan para sa mga solo parent na ibinubusan lang ng ibang opisyal ng pamahalaan. DILG Secretary Benhur Abalos Jr. na kumakandidato ngayon bilang senador, delikado ang kalagayan. Narito ang buong detalye.
Next to be recognized is Representative Bernadette Herrera.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Magandang hapon po to the DILG family. Secretary, sundan ko lang po yung tanong ni Kong Arlene Brosas as one of the authors also. Solo Parents, Expanded Solo Parents Welfare Act. Medyo nalulungkot po talaga ako dahil every time I go around, marami pa rin pong LGUs ang hindi nag-i-issue ng Solo Parent ID at saka ng Solo Parent Booklet. Ang masakla pa po doon, yung Solo Parent ID, minsan may bayad. Alam ni Kong Stella yan. So ibig sabihin, kulang ang information dissemination. And dun po sa batas natin, ang DILG po ang main na naatasan para mag-information dissemination. Marami pa rin pong municipalities and cities, ang alam po nila yung RA 8972. Hindi po nila alam yung RA 11861. So maraming kategorya ng solo parents ang hindi na susan. Sino po ba ang in charge sa DILG sa solo parents?
Madam Chair, may I answer? Okay. Actually, nag-issue na po kami ng circular hingil po rito sa lahat ng local government unit. Ang naging problema on the ground, if I might be, para lang makita po ninyo nangyari on the ground, meron po kasi tayong binibigyan rin sa senior citizen na 1,000 pesos. At ito po yung galing sa bulsa ng local government unit. Bukod po sa senior citizen, meron po rin po tayo sa PWD. At kaya po nung inilabas po itong solo parent, medyo ibang LGU na hirapan na po. But be it as it may, no, nagkalat po kami, inikot po namin itong circular na ito, pinalala na po namin sa bawat LGU at maya't maya nire-remind po namin sila. Ang the one in charge po rito ay si Director Ana. Director? Yeah. Siya po ang in charge po rito. Of course, under po kay Yusek Iringan.
Through you, Madam Chair, I think, Mr. Secretary, I understand what you're saying. Because nung nag-follow up ako sa Quezon City Government, ang tagal naming nagdebate ni Mayor Joy. It's because of the misunderstanding. Nakakalimutan nila, nakasaad po sa batas ng Solo Welfare Act, pag ikaw ay tumatanggap na ng subsidiya sa 4Ps, tumatanggap na sa Social Pension Fund, pag tumatanggap na sa PWD, hindi ka na qualified. Ito po yung para sa mga solo parents na below minimum wage earners na at all walang subsidy na natatanggap sa gobyerno. So it limits already. Ang hinahabol lang po natin, walang solo parent na may iwan. Nung napaliwanagan ko po si Mayor Joy, nawala na po yung galit niya sa akin. Kasi sinasabi niya, kayo talagang mga congressman, pasakay ng pasa ng batas. Sabi ko, Mayor, basahin mo naman muna yung bill namin, yung law. So, parang naano sila kaagad na, ayuda na naman. No. And that is why, kung si Director Ana ang in charge, it's very important to explain to the local government units. Another thing, Mr. Secretary, na-explain ba dun sa 5th class municipalities and lower, and those na 500 poorest, na may incidence of poverty, that they can make use of their GAD fund? I would like to know if this is being explained.
Yes, Madam Chair, no. Lahat po ng nabanggit kanina ni Honorable Herrera ay nakasaad doon sa memorandum circular na ibinaba po ng aming kagawaran sa lahat ng mga local government units. Pero kung kinakailangan po magbigay kami ng follow-up na guidance sa ating mga LGUs, we will do that, Your Honor, Madam Chair.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Mr. Secretary, to the DLG family, I think hindi siya pwedeng simpleng memorandum circular. Kailangan talagang may mag-explain sa kanila. Kasi yung palang 1,000 pesos cash, ayaw na nilang basahin yung sulat ninyo. Ganun po ang nangyayari kasi natotrauma na sila dito. And yung GAD fund kasi, ang daming hindi nakakagamit ng wasto at ng tama. And this is one way where we can help them. May I get the assurance from our Secretary na baka pwede naman siyang isama sa Seal of Good Governance, Mr. Secretary, as a criteria? Baka pwedeng isama
Yes.
siya kasi 'di ba
Yeah.
pangbuo naman ang welfare sa Seal of Good Governance. Baka pwedeng isama sa criteria ang pagsunod sa Expanded Solo Welfare Act.
Siguro ang pinakamagandang gawin po namin dito ay aside sa ahensya po namin, ito po ikakaskade namin sa ibang ahensya kamukha ng DSWD, no? At hindi lang ho ito, siguro tama kayo, kung babasahin lang yung circular, tatama rin, sabihin, bibigay ka rin naman ng 1,000 tapos hindi na babasahin lahat. What I will do instead is task all regional directors, PD, municipal, and city to explain personally to the mayors, no? Lahat na ito, alam ko, merong senior citizen, you're supposed to receive 1K, PW 1K, at kung may pera pa kayo na hindi naman ito senior citizen or hindi PWD, bigyan nyo pa yung solo parent. No? So, ganun na lang po ang gagawin namin aside from the circular for all LGUs, imamando na po namin lahat ng aming mga personnel on the ground na explain personally sa mga local chief executives.
And Mr. Secretary, through you, Madam Chair,
One
I think it
last,
also has to be
Honorable
emphasized.
Herrera.
Yeah, I will wrap up. I think it has also be emphasized that yung 1,000 subsidy, hindi naman siya yung major component ng pagbibigay ng solo parent ID. Ito lang po ay para doon sa mga below poverty line or nasa minimum wage earners. Sila lang po yung may subsidy. But there are other benefits that solo parents also need. Kaso, ang nasa utak ng mga LGUs is yung bibigyan ka agad ng subsidy pag may solo parent ID. Like the booklet, Mr. Secretary, I don't know of any LGU at all na nakapag-issue na ng booklet. Ang meron lang pong booklet, yung may anak na below 7 years old, na ang income is below 250,000. So very specific po. Kaya Mr. Secretary, I hope I can work with DILG together with Silacong Brosas with regards to this. Madam Chair, mag-round 2 na lang ako.
Ma'am, I have here the number of distributed. Medyo hindi nga ganun kataas, no? Sa cities, ang na-distribute is 23,042 booklets. Sa municipalities, it's 61,824. Sa provinces ay 234. Sige. Ganito na lang, ma'am. I will personally look into this.
Opo.
And imo-mobilize na po namin lahat ng regional directors, provincial directors, city and municipal, para, at if we have to make phone calls for each and everyone, gagawin po namin.
Naku, maraming salamat.
Yes,
Pwede po ba kaming humingi ng kopya ng mga listahan ng
Yes.
mga municipalities and LGUs sa sumusunod po?
Yes, ma'am. We commit
Okay.
that, ma'am.
So,
Madam
thank you
Chair,
Madam
but next
Chair.
round na lang po ako for another.
Honorable
Thank you.
Bernadette Herrera. The next to be recognized is our Vice Chair, Senior Vice Chair Stella Kimbo.
Salamat, Madam Chair. Actually, Secretary, I am going to read the questions of Kong Tof de Venecia ng ika-4 na distrito ng Pangasinan. So the first question is as follows. The OTOP, this is the One Town, One Product Law. The OTOP law was enacted last year and its IRR was approved. During last year's budget deliberation, we solicited the commitment of the ILG to issue an MC for all LGUs to establish OTOP hubs in their respective jurisdiction, not to be confused with existing negosyo centers. May I ask our good secretary if the DILG was able to issue the same? So do we have a status of compliance by LGUs for the
Yes,
same?
we already created a draft, based on our team here, and we submitted this. It's called the draft of the Joint Memorandum Circular on the LGU implementation of the OTOP and cultural mapping. They are now with DTI for inputs and comments and finalization. We'll just follow this up with DTI, ma'am.
Ay, salamat po at
Sige, follow
hingi
up.
na lang po kami ng kopya at sigurado matutuwa po si Kong To.
Bibigyan ko po kayo ng kopya, ma'am.
Salamat po. Second po, there was also a commitment from the ILG to issue an MC for all LGUs to undertake cultural mapping as mandated by the Cultural Mapping Law. Cultural mapping will impact not only education outcomes, but also tourism and business outcomes and other governance areas in the locality. May I inquire if the DILG was able to issue the MC? Do we have a status of compliance by LGUs for the same?
Yes, Madam Chair, the ILG issued Memorandum Circular 2022-84, Establishment and Maintenance of LGU Inventory of Cultural Property using Cultural Mapping Toolkit and Cultural Mapping Forms developed by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts. Right now, the numbers that we have per the Seal of Good Local Governance result, we have 56 provinces compliant, 107 cities, and 732 municipalities. 52% of our municipalities, 49% of our municipalities, 73% of our cities, and 69% of our cities have already complied with the requirement, Madam Chair.
Salamat po. And again, we'll have, maybe ask for a copy of the MC.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Ay, salamat. Third po, the BJMP also made a commitment to enter into an MOU with the DTI so that the products crafted by our PDLs can be included in all trade fairs organized by the DTI and maybe even duty-free, which is under the DOT. May I ask if the BJMP has dialogued with either the DTI or the DOT? We also requested the BJMP to submit to us data on all products by the PDLs. Can we follow up on this request? May we know when we can get the same?
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Same goes through with the DLG. We have also a communication to our regional directors down the line to all the wardens, and we're getting also feedbacks, but we're going through to it with coordination with the CDA, Your Honor, Madam Chairman.
Salamat po. Fourth, last budget deliberation, the LGA mentioned that it was in coordination with the DTI in developing a module for CPD to empower local executives towards creative governance strategies. May I ask the LGA, what is the status of the module? Has this been implemented? For your section in the GAA, would the LGA be open to an amendment at the proper time to include in the special provisions under areas for training, creative governance, and creative industry promotion?
Your Honor and Madam Congresswoman, we would like to inform the body that the local government, the DILG to the Local Government Academy has created the Create for LGU program in our OPB 2024 and 2025 with an allocation of 6.75 million this year and next year. Last year, we started the initiation with webinar session. Actually, the good congressman was a speaker presenting, inspiring the participants on the creative industry law in the Philippines. As to the modules, we have training on business creation, acceleration, retention, and expansion for creative industries for LGUs, and the training on sustainable and resilient tourism development for LGUs. If we have to inform the body, just recently last month, we had an LGU alliance in Siargao in which the tourism industry in the LGU was initiated, and the visual arts, tattoo artists, craft souvenir pots, musician, and performing arts, surfing event management was highlighted. And we would like to inform the body as of this period, 1,472 participants coming from 452 LGUs have participated in different learning activities of the program.
Salamat po. Puro good news pala. Basta wag lang fire truck, no? Last year, the DILG made a commitment to hold a creative governance summit to capacitate LGUs with the understanding of cultural and creative strategies. It might be too late to organize one now in light of the upcoming elections, but is DILG interested to pursue a Creative Cities grant program similar to the SGLF as committed to the UK ambassador, may I get a focal for this program?
Yes, Madam Chair. With regards to item mentioned by the good congressman, the DILG will include the Philippine Creative Cities Network proposed by the Creative Industry Council to be part of the Philippine Smart LGUs Network, which will be launched on August 22 of this year.
At talaga po?
Yes,
This year?
Madam Chair, we will, on August 22 and 23, we will be having the local governance summit, which will be participated by LGU functionaries from all over the country. We plan to gather like 2,000 to 3,000 LGU functionaries on those dates
To launch this?
of this year.
Wow,
Your Honor.
congratulations. Kasi kasama ko po si Kong Tof when we visited a number of creative cities po sa UK, and I think it's a very good initiative. So congratulations po in advance. His next question, may I know to which extent DILG participates in the Metro Manila Film Festival?
Actually, Madam Chair, primarily it's MMDA, but we are supporting them. No, we brought this Metro Manila Film Festival abroad to the United States, where we shown our talents there, and we invited Filipino producers, Film, to come here and even shoot here. And a lot have heeded our call. A lot of films are now going here. Sumusuporta lang po kami rito. And to add further po dito sa creative cities, yung pong aming summit on the August 22 ay dadaluhan ng lahat. Lahat ng probinsya, lahat ng city, lahat ng munisipyo. This will be a gathering of all chief executives na kung saan pag-uusapan ng iba-ibang thematic areas for governance, ma'am.
Okay, so your time.
Last na lang po.
Okay.
Pasensya na po. Itutuloy ko na lang po na one of the pain points of the movie and live events industry is the amusement tax. So ito po yung isa sa mga problema sa movie industry. So we hope to get the support of the Secretary in elevating the amusement tax discussion to members of the Metro Manila Commission. While we welcome the institutional relaxation of amusement tax by some LGUs, perhaps a whole of government strategy would be most helpful to the film and live events industry to ensure their survival in the next decade. Could we get that commitment? Yun na lang po, sir, ang last.
Nung narinig ko po talaga itong kalagayan ng industriyang Pilipino sa pelikula, talagang kawawa. Lalo na nung COVID, tumataya at sumusugal. Hindi lang sila kumita, kuminsan napipirata, nagagaya pa. At nakita ko po ang gastos, no, kung kaya't nag-commit kami, 4 na lungsod ang hindi nagpataw ng amusement tax. Ito ay ang Mandaluyong, ang Parañaque, ang Quezon City, I think it's Valenzuela, at marami pa po. So ito po ngayon, the best that we could do is urge them, because this is a power granted by the local government code. No? That's the best that we could do, ma'am. Pero hindi po kami tumitigil dito at talagang umiikot pa rin po kami para hikayatin ang mga local government unit na i-waive ang amusement tax.
Okay, salamat po on behalf of Kong Tof. At congratulations na rin, sir, kasi may showbiz career yan yata si sir.
Okay, so thank you very much, Senior Vice Chair Stella Kimbo. We're done with the second round. We're now in the third round. Kaya hindi pa tayo uuwi. Honorable Representative Raon Manuel is recognized by the Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Magandang hapon po for the third time. Madam Chair, balikan ko lang kasi yun nga we note na merong dangerous implications kapag ituturing ng PNP na terrorists yung mga dissidents. And as mentioned, Madam Chair, dissidents are clumped with lawless elements, organized crimes, smugglers, carnappers. And Madam Chair, dissidents include young people, women, PWDs, indigenous people at iba pa. So Madam Chair, magkano ba yung total na proposed budget ng PNP para dun sa conduct of police patrol operations and other related confidential activities?
Your Honor, let me check on this matter po. Sir, we have it's about 168,984,227,000 pesos po.
168 billion pesos, Madam Chair.
Yes, Your Honor.
So Madam Chair, kung merong 206 billion na proposed budget ang PNP, ang budget para dun sa nabanggit natin, that's already 81% of the whole PNP budget. Madam Chair, parting kasi nung pangalan ay other confidential related activities. Madam Chair, anong kaibahan nito dun sa pagkagastosan ng hiwalay pa na confidential funds ng PNP?
Sir, what we have right now, it's 168 already incorporated po dun sa ano natin. What you're talking about is confidential. It's more of our intelligence fund, not only for yung anti-crime po natin, especially po yung smuggling, carnapping, gun running, illegal fishing activities. But if you want to have the details, sir, can I submit po after po ng budget hearing? Because I have only the general appropriation right now that we are requesting about 168 million pesos.
Okay, so para malinaw lang Madam Chair, yung confidential funds ng PNP, kung gagamitin po yan, nakapailalim yan dito sa conduct of police patrol operations and other related confidential activities.
Most of our funds, usually, sir, ginagamit po namin for wanted persons. Kulang pa nga po yung pera namin for wanted persons kasi you're talking about dissidents and it's more of a proactive approach. But the most of our confidential funds, intelligence funds, usually used for most wanted and high-value targets po natin, especially from drugs, from smuggling, and illegal and gun running po.
Magkano ang proposal for confidential funds for 2025?
The intelligence funds, we are requesting is about 806 million pesos po.
Intelligence funds.
Yes, Your Honor.
So hindi siya confidential funds? Or is it a mix of both?
It's both, sir, intelligence and confidential fund po.
Okay. Can the PNP assure this committee, Madam Chair, na kung meron siyang confidential activities, ang magiging source lang nun ay yung CIF at hindi nalalabas dun sa CIF?
Your Honor, I just want to correct myself. We don't have any confidential fund. We have only intelligence fund right now, which is being distributed for intelligence and investigation and, of course, our drug enforcement unit po.
So